Hi everybody, and welcome back to another competitive Modern League. This is round 2 with Jeskai Flash / midrange / Geist / tempo / whatever you're calling it this week. That's what this is, at least a version of it anyway. Before I get started, I have a couple of quick things to mention. First off, on my photography channel, I recently posted a new video in which I do some snowshoeing, so if that's something that you've been following or interested in, I'll put a link up here in the upper hand corner of the screen so that you can check that out. And secondly, thank you everybody who sent me messages and posted some nice and supportive comments after I shared some of my life frustrations with you. Really appreciate the support, and thank you very much for taking the time to leave me the messages and comments that you did. Okay, so I guess one more tiny thing. This is the second time I've done this today. You might remember, and I'm being quiet because now it's nighttime, but you might remember when I recorded a Blue-Red Breach League, I said that I had lost all of the a bunch of the league videos that I recorded because of this weird audio issue, and it happened again. It's super annoying. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's just... And anyway, it's annoying because basically, I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm not making content. Hi everybody, and welcome back to this week's competitive Modern League. Right before I start talking, you can hear some other audio, and actually just the whole way through this, there is audio overlaid from a video that I already recorded. And I don't know why this happens, but I can't put out a video that has, two audio tracks. Even if one of them, in that case, it was a bit better because it was a little lower. Super annoying though, so now I have to re-record this darn thing. I will also say up front that this is going to be a match against Elves, and unfortunately I'm only going to be able to show you part of the round because the Magic Online replay screwed up. But we'll get to that, and I will talk you through what happened after the screw up. So anyway, let me get started with what I can show you. Okay, so opponent's going to be on the play. This hand's a bit slow, but I think it's a fine hand in that we have 3 lands, we have 2 pieces of threats that are simultaneously disruption, and we have 2 ways to find what we're looking for, plus we're on the play, so hopefully we'll know what our opponent's playing right away and get to use our Serum Visions to maximum effect. So as our opponent's turn, they just go land go. So don't really have too much information at this point, but we know we're playing forests. That's probably going to mean creatures. That's going to probably mean there's a high likelihood of something like Birds of Paradise or something. So I think we have enough information to safely Serum Visions and look to keep removal. It's much less likely that it's going to be something like Green Ramp, which it could be. But even then, they often use mana ramp creatures and stuff. So, I think it's really safe. And both these cards look great. I mean, Path to Exile, Lightning Helix, good removal spells, Logic not on turn 2. So I put both on top just to double check. Yep. And go ahead and pass turn back. Opponent untaps. Okay, so now I know it's Elves. And because they don't yet have Cavern of Souls, I want to, and I only have one removal. Well, I have one removal spell on top of my deck. I'm one removal spell here, but I'm really incentivized to try to get some value out of this Logic Knot and turn it into a removal spell. So I'm going to shock and pass the turn, and then hope that the opportunity presents itself to pseudo kill a creature with Logic Knot. If they play a Cavern of Souls, and they play a Cavern of Souls, and we weren't going to get any value out of it anyway, but we have this Helix. Also, one creature that they sometimes play is Dwarven's Elite, which is a 2-mana 2/2 that makes a 1/1 if there's another elf in play. And so it is, if possible, it's really advantageous to keep that from resolving because you just have that many less permanents to deal with, and you kind of deny them their little 2-for-1. Alright, so opponent made a land drop. So if he plays a 2-mana creature, or if you play, so obviously we can't counter this. So it's a Dwarven's Elite, so that's actually perfect. Now, if he only has one creature, if you don't have a counterspell, something to keep in mind is that you can, like, let's say the only thing he had was an Elvis Visionary. We can Helix the Elvis Visionary while Dwarven's Elite's on the stack, and then they won't get the 1/1 token. But in this case, we're obviously going to take advantage of being able to counter something in Elves, which you can't always do, and counter the Dwarven's Elite, delving away Serum Visions, and then taking our turn. So that's what we do. Now here, we can do a couple of things. We could just kill the Elvish Vistic and hope that they don't hit a 4th land drop so that they can't Cryptic Command. But Cryptic Command is probably their best spell. We can also Vendilion Click right now and take a potential Collected Company that they might have. But I'm a kind of a more of a fan of having to make them say commit to the Collected Company mana while putting a creature in play that can be a good blocker. We're not under a huge amount of pressure yet anyway. The other reason I don't like the Helix play is if they do have the 4th land, like if we Helix the Elvish Mystic, then they're just guaranteed to resolve it, so I certainly want to hold up Spell Queller. If we had a 4th land and could fire off this bolt, that would be nice, but we don't. And they go for a Collected Company as expected, and so we're going to Spell Queller it as discussed. So that went kind of quick. I should have used the slower button, but that's what happened. They tapped their mana, fired off this Collected Company, and we Spell Quellered it. Now, they have 2 cards in hand, so if they have a Collected Company, there's nothing that we can do about it. We'll see what they have. Fortunately for us, they do. And then their last card is another Elvish Visionary, which cantrips them into a Nettle Sentinel. So suddenly we have quite the sizable board here that we're going to have to manage. Thankfully, we draw a 4th land. Now, I think the right way to play this turn is to go ahead and bolt the Azuri Renegade Leader. Now, if he gives regeneration to the Heritage Druid, in response, we could Path to Exile it. But, well, we have a couple of different options available to us. One option is to Helix the Azuri Renegade Leader to gain a little bit of life. We have Spell Queller on blocking duty. The other option is, if you just want to go maximum or removal mode, you'd want to bolt the Azuri Renegade Leader. It's basically just bolt, snap, bolt. And I think what I opt to do, which is the other play, is to Helix Bolt and go ahead and take a turn to get the Serum Visions out of the way. If we take out Azuri and we take out Heritage Druid, he just has a bunch of like 1/1s and 2/2s with no cards in hand. And we have a Spell Queller in play. So that's what I decided to do. Just go ahead and Bolt, Helix, Serum Visions, and just kind of hope that, they don't hit something like a Collected Company. They've already played 1, and we have 1 under our Spell Queller, so it seems relatively safe. Now, even if they drew something like an Elvish Archdruid, we're going to take a bit of damage, but the only creature that they can profitably attack into our Spell Queller with, even then, is a Nettle Sentinel. If they draw an Azuri, that could be... Yeah, it's actually, they couldn't even use it, and we could kill it before they could use it. So I like this line just because that Serum Visions is always going to be kind of clunky, and if we can set up our draws, that would be better. I put all lands on the bottom of the library with that Serum Visions. Opponent plays a Pendelhaven, which will get a bit annoying because now we can block one of these 1/1s and he'll just Pendelhaven it and then it doesn't die. Can't attack with the Nettle Sentinel because we could block that and kill it. He can't Pendelhaven it. But this is again the second time I've done this. I made a little mistake, and I got a island because I'm into Serum Visions, and then I either suddenly decided I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my turn. But I think the right play here is probably to, well, there's a couple different things we could do. We really just want to dodge Collected Company, but either way, I think the right thing to do is go ahead and Serum Visions, and then put a click into play at the end of their turn if they don't do anything, or if we or if they play a creature or something. But if we get the sense that they are going to, if they don't play something, I think that means it's Collected Company, and so then in that case we want to probably Snapcast or Logic Knot. But either way, you want to cast the Serum Visions, and I just didn't do that. In fact, kind of reviewing the footage here, it depends on how safe you want to play this. Because they didn't play anything, and I kind of took I guess you'd call it you could say it's riskier. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. But I chose to just be like, you didn't draw a Collected Company. I'm not going to play around it. And I go in and I get trying to remember why I got Bolt instead of Helix. If I use the path also, then it makes sense. So I think my plan here is I'm kind of forcing, I'm guaranteeing that I get to trade this Spellqueller for something. And I'm going to go ahead and kill that Elvish Visionary. Block this Elvish Mystic. But again, I've in this line that I've selected, I've kind of opened myself to getting Collected Companied. Getting hit by, having that company resolve when, perhaps there was a way to play around it. And again, I definitely should have cast this. And also, I probably should just cast the Lightning Helix. So I don't remember what I was thinking at the time, but so I draw with Shaman of the Pack, so we're not getting hit by Collected Company. Oh, you know what? I remember now. So Helix seems like it might have been more obvious, but I decided, well, I think, I'm grinding him down. I don't need to gain the 3 life per se. And if he did get a Collected Company, or if he just has a creature that we really want to kill, I wanted the opportunity to kill it at the end of turn with Path to Exile. And what I actually decided to do is Path the Elvish Visionary, because it's the only creature that can get Pendelhaven, and since Pendelhaven gives +2, now I have good blocks for the Shaman of the Pack and the Nettle Sentinel. I can trade Snapcaster Mage for a Shaman of the Pack, and I can trade Spellqueller for the Nettle Sentinel. But I still should have cast that. I still should have cast that Serum Visions. I don't know why I didn't. So I'm just going to skip all the way forward here, because he does nothing else. We untap, find another Snapcaster Mage, which is nice. And this is, again, kind of probably a play that I didn't need to make. The only card that matters right now is Collected Company, and I have the ability to Serum Visions and then Snap Logic Knot. I also have the ability with what he currently has on the battlefield to just make it so that he can't attack. And I can't go ahead and Serum Visions, so let's see what I see with that. So all these cards are great. So what I can actually do is I could potentially probably even get away with not using this Electrolyze. I mean, I want to keep it on top, but by going top with the Electrolyze and then top with the Island. Because once I get, this is if you want to play it really safe, once I get 7 lands into play, I can go ahead and Vendilion click, in addition to holding up Snapcaster Mage, Logic Knot for a collected company. So that's probably the safest way to do it. But, you know, I decided, okay, whatever, I'm going to start trying to end the game. But it may not have been the safest play, so I attack with everything. And this play, I can't really explain. This is the second time I've seen it now. I don't remember. I think if I had a reason. I guess I just felt like, well, if I'm going to Lightning Helix, I'm going to do it anyway. I know I'm drawing an Electrolyze. I'll go ahead and kill one of these things he can't attack in. But I still don't think I needed to do it on his turn. Like, I could have normally what I would do in this situation is let him attack. Even if I'm not going to hold up Logic Knot, let him attack with Shaman of the Pact and Nettle Sentinel, and then Flash and Snapcaster Mage and block one and kill the other one. So I'm not sure why I selected the line that I did there. It seems a little bit weird to me. I think even if like I said, even if I was going to do that, I think it's best to just wait till his turn. Kind of surprisingly, he offered up the trade anyway. I think it surely must be better to just hope you draw into, like, save your creatures and hope you draw into something that makes them bigger or something rather than just throw them away. But maybe there's something about the deck I don't understand. So now the plan is, since he just drew a Heritage Druid and we know we're drawing an Electrolyze, we can go and attack in with Snapcaster Mage, and when he blocks with the Heritage Druid and activates Pendelhaven, we can Electrolyze the Heritage Druid. And since I can't hold up Cryptic, I did decide to just go ahead and flash and Vendilion Click at his draw step. And I see an Missouri Renegade Leader. And this is potentially another questionable play on my part. I could have just let him have it. I mean, I'm going to attack him in the air for 5 next turn. Then if he goes to, like, attack with the Missouri Renegade Leader and buff it or whatever, use the activated ability, I could just bounce it with Cryptic Command. So he'll have taken 5, so he'll be down to 8. And then if I untap and attack with, so it's 5 from the Queller and the Vendilion Click to put him to 8. And then it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would be a lethal attack. So by putting it on the bottom, I kind of just move him a little bit closer to a collected company. And I don't know that the Renegade Leader was really all that relevant on its own. But I did go ahead and put it on the bottom. And it worked out. His other draw was Llanowar Elves, which really doesn't matter. But like I said, I don't know that it was the right decision. But at any rate, it's pretty clear that the matchup's going to go in my favor at this point, and the opponent concedes. See you guys for game 2. Now, as far as sideboard, I think my sideboard was fine. Go ahead and take out the 2 Geist, the Vendilion Click. I took out the Spell Snare and the Logic Knots. The cards I brought in would be, so I took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Brought in 2 Blade Splicers, the 3 Sweepers, so is a Static Caster, Engineered Explosives, Settle the Wreckage, and then 2 Dispels for the collected companies. I think it would also have been completely fine to find room for this Chronos God of Storms. That's kind of why it's in the deck. But maybe I think the reason I didn't was I just thought that Elves can be a bit too explosives, and I might not be able to afford, like, it's not like Jund where it's really grindy, but they're not going to suddenly kill you all at once, whereas, Elves can really, really hinge on just having as much cheap removal as possible. So I think I probably wouldn't board the Chronos. Anyway. see here. Hand seems good. We have a removal spell for a turn 1 accelerant. We have Serum Vengeance to improve our hand, which already is looking good because we have this for a collected company, this for a turn 1. Once we find a white source, we have another removal spell. Once we find any other land, we have Snapcaster Mage Bolt. So really, I don't know that we could ask for much better of a hand. So as discussed, we just Mountain Bolt the Llanowar Elves. Opponent plays a Scavenging Ooze. We untap, play an island, and I let this go a little bit too far, but I had a couple of different options. I could have pathed the Scavenging Ooze so that he couldn't eat this Lightning Bolt and this Llanowar Elves, but then I'm basically giving him a land now and letting him collected company right away, which he'll probably do. And I'm not able to keep 2 blue sources up for the Dispel. Alternatively, I can just cast my Serum Visions and leave the Scavenging Ooze. He can eat the Llanowar Elves, but it's still in bolt range. And if he eats our other bolt, it might not be the end of the world. And my thought process is he might not eat the bolt because he's going to be at most on 3 mana, and he's going to want to develop his board. So he's going to want to do something like play a Llanowar Elves, and then like a Dwarven's Elite, or Heritage Druid and a Dwarven's Elite. You know, he's going to, like, if he's just sitting on Scavenging Ooze and not doing anything, then that's working in our favor. So I feel like it's probably okay to just go ahead and Serum Visions and hold on to this path for the moment. So I'm obviously going to put both those lands on the bottom, pass the turn back. And as expected, opponent attacks and then plays a land. It doesn't activate Scavenging Ooze, but it's actually much worse than that. He leads a Stampede and just has an incredible hit. And he hits 4 creatures off Lead the Stampede. All really good ones too. I don't know why this is so slow. He hits 2 Elvish Archdruids, little card advantage guy, Dwarven's Elite, or 2 from whatever you want to call it, and Shaman of the Pact. The only thing he's missing at the moment is like the mana to deploy all this immediately, but obviously we are suddenly in a bad situation. So the reason I'm going for Path to Exile is I really want the Bolt in the yard now because I don't have enough removal spells. And what I would like to do is just Snapcaster Mage, Bolt the Scavenging Ooze. But if he goes land number 4, Collected Company, on top of everything that he's drawn here, I was just probably never going to win this game. It's already going to be really difficult to win the game. And so since he's going to potentially be at Collected Company mana anyway next turn, if he wants to hold up a company, like let's say I give him a land here, he plays a land. If he wants to hold up mana for Collected Company, he only gets to use 1 mana to play one thing. And I'm much more interested in countering a Collected Company than just getting this, going Snap Bolt on the Scavenging Ooze now. So I choose to path it because, you know, I'm giving him the land, which helps him cast more of these creatures, but I'm just too afraid to snap Bolt and give him a window to resolve a Collected Company. This was my thinking anyway. Alright, so opponent plays land. It's an Elvish Archdruid. And I think this is where the I want to say he played Dwarven's Elite. Yeah, so he actually did play something there. He didn't just do this. And let's see if we can see what happened here next for me. Okay, I also didn't not do anything. This is just kind of screwed up. Okay, anyway, great. So what happened was, I believe he played an Archdruid, and I believe he played a Dwarven's Elite. And what I think I did was, I believe I cast Serum Visions, saw a Settle of the Wreckage, realized that I could snap bolt something if I needed to and hold up this spell. And I'm fairly sure what he did was he played the Elvish Archdruid, he played the Dwarven Elite. I passed the turn, he untapped. I believe he tapped an Elvish Archdruid. He attacked me with the Dwarven's Elite, tapped Elvish Archdruid, and this lands, basically flooded his board. And didn't Collected Company. Long story short, I ended up with so in this situation I played the 4th land, kept the Settle the Wreckage, let him do his thing, which was attack me with the Dwarven's Elite dudes. He played a million dudes with all of his mana. I played land number 5. He attacked me with like an incredible amount of stuff. He attacked me with like 2 Elvish Archdruids, Dwarven's Elite. He may have even played a Shaman of the Pact. He attacked me with like a lot of stuff. It was like, 20 damage. And I totally got everything off the table with Settle the Wreckage. His follow-up play after I made him exile everything was to Collected Company, to which I had to Dispel. At this point, he only had a little bit left in hand because his, with this, he made, I forget exactly what he did, but he was able to make a lot of mana and play everything. So he only had even though he got 4 creatures out of this, he didn't get the Collected Company, and he only had 2 or 3 creatures left. I was then able to still have a Snapcaster Mage plus removal spells, or snap Settle the Wreckage if I wanted it. And I basically just ended up kind of grinding him out. And I think I may have won the game with Restoration Angels or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but the only real important point here is that I won the game because of Settle the Wreckage. There was no way I was going to beat this and this and this and this, plus the other 4 cards in his hand, or 7 cards. I mean, because this is already on the battlefield. He just, he had I didn't have enough spot removal. He had an overwhelming board presence, and Settle the Wreckage completely got it done. And it turned out that it was totally the right decision to let myself take a little bit of damage off of the Dwarven's Elite. I can't remember. I think he played this, but anyway, it was right, because then he just totally played into flooded the board and played into Settle the Wreckage. Settle the Wreckage is what won the game. All right, that's it for round 2. I'm going to check the audio. Hopefully it didn't screw up. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And again, thank you for the supportive words that you guys sent me. And if you want to check out my photography channel, I'll put a link up here. See you guys on Wednesday for round 3. Bye for now.